Hello, it is Friday, November 26th, 2021. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to my New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. I hope those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving had a very, very good one yesterday. I am having a delayed Thanksgiving tomorrow here in London for our other friends who reside here, and today I will largely be prepping for that. I'll be salting my turkey and getting the stuffing ready to be baked tomorrow and making cranberry sauce and doing all the other things that I can do ahead of time. So I'm very excited about that, actually. I'm very much looking forward to getting going with that after this video. I'm also looking forward to seeing if this video records properly, because I've really been struggling with audio issues. I think I mentioned earlier I had a corrupted video with the Boss Words Fall Themeless League competition puzzle this week for Patreon subscribers. And then yesterday I recorded a whole bonus video to replace it. It's a different crossword I found. And that had also terrible audio issues that prevented it from being releasable. I mean, it was a little better, but still not at a standard I'd like. So I'm very sorry if when you're hearing this video, there are any sort of audio artifacts or anything. I've gone to great lengths just now to try and address it based on some arcane knowledge about audio drivers and settings sourced from some Russian forum. I don't know. I found a video. We'll just have to see. I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do. I already, earlier this week, reinstalled Windows from scratch on my computer to address it. It worked for a couple days. Then it started again. Anyway, you don't need to hear about this. It's not very interesting, is it? Let's talk about a couple of clues from yesterday's puzzle. Well, actually, I shouldn't even say a couple of clues from yesterday's puzzle. Let's talk about yesterday's puzzle in general. The vast majority of the comments on yesterday's video were about the people's own trials and tribulations in getting that puzzle to validate because of the very specific format, or at least the very specific set of formats that the New York Times crossword app and website were willing to accept. And many people had the same experience I did. Other people were able to get yesterday's crossword to validate, not by entering in both letters in each of the rebus cells, but just the first or the second of the two, interestingly. And I, of course, was able to get it validated by putting a slash between the two. Other people had that experience as well. But plenty of things didn't work, and that was the frustrating part. Anyway, I don't need to read all of those comments. There were far too many to read. I'll just read one, chosen almost at random, I suppose, from Elliot Robinson, who says, "I've only been solving since you started this channel. Thank you." Well, thank you for watching, Elliot. That's great. "This was tracking to be my first rebus puzzle solved without assistance. Oh no. Then TF Gate occurred, and I spent half an hour looking for errors. Now I am yelling on Thanksgiving," shakes fist at the sky. I'm sorry, Elliot. Yes. Well, I think a lot of people are in that position. It's particularly frustrating that it was your first essentially successful rebus solve. So I guess hard lesson to learn on your first of those. All right, let's read some other comments about other things not related to problems, either my audio problems or rebus validation problems. Some of the most obscure and bizarre problems one could bother talking about. Anyway, Matt Ricks writes that a backsplash, which was mentioned in yesterday's puzzle, is the panel behind a sink counter. I think I erroneously remembered it as being something toilet related. Matt continues, "They're most commonly found in kitchens, but they can be found in washrooms, though rarely behind the toilet itself." So thank you for that correction. And then Remy has another correction. "The French spelling for beer is bière with B-I-E-R-E and not beer, B-I-E-R, which is indeed Deutsch, German, as I said, or in this case, Dutch. And Dutch is actually accurate to the puzzle, unlike what I said, even though the word could be German." And Victoria Rojicka follows up and says, "Yes, Amstel is a Dutch beer brand. Amsterdam, Amstel. Amstel is a river here. There's also a city called Amstelveen. I'm sure I'm murdering these pronunciations. I'm very sorry. And Oudekerk on the Amstel, Old Church by the Amstel. Although, of course, Amstel does flow. The beer does flow. Very good. Okay. Kathy Swope found this easy for a Thursday puzzle. I think a lot of people agreed with that outside of the validation issues. A Thanksgiving gift, perhaps, she says, so we can get back to cooking. Indeed. Dana Point, she explains, is a city in Orange County, a bit of a trek from SFO. So there we go. I don't know Orange County very well. And Kathleen Quinn explains that ora pro nobis means pray for us. So my guess is we're off track. And I think that's it. So I'll quickly remind you about the new Twitter account at The Daily Solve on Twitter and the Patreon campaign at patreon.com/dailysolve, where you can find a wealth of bonus solve videos. And despite those problems that I alluded to today with respect to getting recordings out, if this recording is okay, which I dearly hope it is, I will definitely get something else out on the Patreon feed. And of course, we have 2 to 3 bonus videos per week on the Patreon, going back months at this point. So plenty of videos on there for subscribers. Anyway, let's solve the video. Boy, this has been a long preamble. Let's do it. This is, of course, a Friday crossword constructed by Kate Hawkins and edited, as always, by Will Shorts. Now, as a Friday crossword, it will be themeless. We won't have a theme today. And it will be a fairly difficult puzzle. I always think of Thursday as sort of the first tricky puzzle of the week, and then Friday as the first really difficult crossword of the week. It's always variable, but we'll see. Could be a tough one. Ready to get started? Okay. A small headache feels though that could be plenty of things. It could be a pain. It could be an ache. Well, not an ache, I suppose, because ache is in the clue, and you're not going to get that repeated. But anyway, too vague, I think, to really know what it is. A one-time chain that offered free Battery Club memberships. Wonder if this must be an auto parts chain or something. I don't know. One-time chain. That's doesn't even exist anymore, whatever it is. That's obscure. 10 down highlight. And 10 down is a Strauss work with the Dance of the Seven Veils. Oh, I feel like I should have that to hand, but I don't. Best-selling heavy metal band named for a torture device. Must be Iron Maiden. The Iron Maiden, I know, was a medieval torture device, although I think it's sort of elements of it are disputed, but I can't really remember. I think it's disputed whether it was actually used as a torture device, but I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong about that. So don't take that comment seriously. Anyway, clear could be rid, to clear an area of traps, to rid it of traps. I don't know. It's possible. Foe of Wonder Woman. In the Wonder Woman film, her foe was Ares, God of War, I think. Let's see. Does that help at all? If these are both correct, brushing, e.g. D something, removing something with a brush. Stay in touch could be don't be a stranger. Oh boy, it would be great to get all these letters. I bet that's right. That is always so satisfying to get. And look at that. It's actually the longest answer in the grid. It spans the sort of equator that runs from north to south. So a place underground. Oh, no. Well, I read this as a place underground, which is a noun, but this doesn't need to be a noun, actually. I have to be careful about that. I've noticed since I started doing the video solve, when I say these out loud, I sort of add words often to the clues in order to make them, I don't know, make more sense in a verbal context. But I really shouldn't be doing that, because this, I don't think it is to place underground. I think it is, well, no, sorry. I don't think it is a place underground. I think it is to place underground. It's a verb. I think it's inter, to place, in this case, a body underground, to bury a body, to inter it. Let's see, does that help? One-time chain that offered free Battery Club memberships. Oh, I don't think it is car batteries. I think it's Radio Shack, which was a one-time electronics store chain. I've never heard of Free Battery Club, but with the RADI, that looks pretty likely. So I suppose RID for clear is probably correct. And here we have brushing. Brushing is dental care, toothbrushing in this case. And number one dad, with a question mark indicating pun or wordplay, this would be Adam from Genesis in the Bible. The number one dad, the first dad, in a biblical sense anyway. And here we have Michael, who played George Michael Bluth on TV Michael Cera is that actor. And if someone was aware of something, they knew of it. And here we have a big old mouth is a maw. Big maw. All right. An old worker with pads could be a steno for a stenographer. It's sort of this says old worker. And by old worker, I think it doesn't mean the worker in question is of an advanced age. I think it means this is a sort of outdated job. A stenographer. I don't think we use that phrase. I think it's a fairly archaic phrase at this point. Someone who records notes and transcriptions. All right. Subjects of a certain sultanate could be Omanis, the Sultanate of Oman. Oh, is this Salome? Dance of the Seven Veils. That sounds right. All right. And it's flat on a snapback. Sorry, I just heard something. A brim of a hat, snapback hat with a flat brim. And then here we have Amy Blank McPherson, evangelist behind America's first megachurch. Don't know. I don't think I am familiar with this person. So we've cleaned out this little pocket of the grid. Let's go back to the crosses and see if we can make any more headway. So, yes. So 10 down highlights. Strauss work with the Dance of the Seven Veils. Salome. So it could be an aria, perhaps. If it were generically a highlight as opposed to a highlight specifically from this work. But let's keep, why isn't my mouse? Okay, let's keep going. Oh, another big old mouth. That's funny. So we had a maw in 22 across, and now in 17 across, we have another big old mouth. What is that? I'm not sure. Let's keep looking. TV character who said, I am so smart, SMRT. That's Homer Simpson from The Simpsons. And I just, a couple of months ago, read an interview with, who is it? Dan Castellaneta? Is that the actor who portrays Homer Simpson? I think so. And he was, I forget why I was reading about this, but he was saying that, or someone was, either he was or the director of the episode or something. Apparently it was written in the script as SMART, but he just flubbed the line. I don't even think it was intentional. He flubbed the line and said SMRT, which obviously is, it's a perfect way to follow up a declaration of one's own intelligence, is to misspell that word. And it wasn't written into it. It became pretty iconic. Anyway, trail. Oh, I see. A path. Trail could be a path. Like a Butterfingers. Well, clumsy. A Butterfingers is someone who drops things. I'm not sure, though, offhand. Speaking of hands. Bucky in the comic strip Get Fuzzy, e.g., for example. So this will be a way to describe, or rather an example, something that this character is. So I don't know, if this character is an animal, for instance, it will be the kind of animal this character is, possibly. Get Fuzzy might mean they're an animal with a fuzzy animal, maybe. I don't know. Patches up in a way. Could end with S to match patches, but not sure. Pine product. Lysol? I was just thinking of the S being here. Lysol is I think a pine-scented cleaning solution, maybe? Like angel investors and devil's food cake. Oh, that's clever. That's very clever. Rich. These are both rich. Angel investors, I think now it's a pretty broad term to use for early stage investors, often in tech companies and things, but it actually derives from investors in Broadway, people who invest in Broadway productions. And they were called angel investors because Broadway productions are so unlikely to be profitable that the people who invested in them they're basically angels. They're almost doing a service. They're almost performing a charity because they were so unlikely to make any kind of real return on their investment. But now that term has become, I think, much broader. And anyway, so you have to be rich to be such a person. You need money to invest. And devil's food cake is rich metaphorically. It's rich in a culinary sense. Very clever. 8 vis-a-vis 2. Well, it's 4 times 2, but that doesn't seem right, does it? I mean, if not for rich, I could say maybe late. 8 o'clock vis-a-vis 2 is later, but sorry, I don't know if that's could be obvious. I apologize if so. Anyway, if rich is correct, which I'm increasingly doubting, but it's got to be. I can't. I mean, it fits so perfectly. So I guess I don't know what's going on with these other clues. Here we have coin blank with a dash. It could be coin ops, coin operated, as in a laundry machines in a laundromat, coin operated machinery. Let's try it, coin ops, and see. Here we have viscera, maybe offal. Viscera meaning sort of entrails, internal organs, which offal. Offal is usually used to describe animal products, but it's the same organs, right? So let's see. Duo in an ellipse. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not awful. Duo in a dots. No, an ellipse. So ellipses typographically are 3 dots. An ellipse is like an elliptical orbit, right? So 2 arcs. Not really sure what's going on over here in general. Intoxicate, not sure, and not sensitive to could be numb to. So that when we have a word in this little parenthetical here, it means that the word is it's a helper. If we add it on to both the clue and the answer, we'll get a more precise match. So not sensitive to, the answer will also be whatever to. So numb to, for instance. Not sensitive could mean numb, but not sensitive to is an even closer match to numb to something. That doesn't mean numb is correct. It just means that it's an example of how to would correctly work. Let's see. 8 vis-a-vis 2. What is that? Sorry, I don't see what this is. Maybe rich is wrong. That's so disappointing if so. Pine product. Oh, resin. Pine resin. So maybe it is right, and I'm just everything else is out of my reach. Like a Butterfingers. Maybe ops is wrong. Hatches up in a way. 8 vis-a-vis 2. What am I missing here? So 8 with respect to 2. 8 as compared to 2 is what? I'm just looking down at the keyboard so I can look at the letters of the alphabet and to see if it means anything to me. Cute? I mean, there's so few words that seem to fit here. Cure, but that's the wrong part of speech. I'm sorry, I really don't see it. Vulnerable newcomers in slang. I should have just moved on because this is more straightforward. Fresh meat in slang is how you might refer to a vulnerable newcomer, a naif. So maybe viscera is awful after. I mean, boy, I'm just all over the place here, aren't I? So coin ops, put this back in, and like a Butterfingers. So it looks like this word would end with OR and then another word start with PR. And here we have, right, Bucky in the comic strips. Could Bucky in the comic strips be a Siamese cat? Just wondering because that's a fuzzy animal that's called Get Fuzzy and it fits. I mean, really, it fits. That's the reason. A small headache. Oh, a pest, perhaps? So small headache. A pest is often something small. So I think that's what that's getting at. A bug or I don't know, a tiny child or something. So 10 down highlight of Salome probably is an aria. So that's generically a song with a featured singer, generally in some degree of vocal acrobatics, often not necessarily, but often. Patches up in a way could be tapes. You could patch something up with tape. And then a big old mouth. It could be a trap. Shut your big old mouth, for instance. And like a Butterfingers is error prone. Okay, I really shouldn't have gotten so hung up on the things that I was stuck on here. And duo in an ellipse. All right, so it is an ellipse, meaning the sort of elongated round shape. And the duo are the 2 foci or foci. I actually don't know which, but the plural of focus, I suppose. The points at the sort of, I don't know how to describe this. I'm not enough of a mathematician, but the points, the sort of furthest extent of the arcs that comprise the ellipse. Hopefully that makes sense. Emperor's order in Star Wars. So in this case, order, I think, means an order, a sort of a group or a brotherhood, as opposed to an order meaning an edict. And so the Sith, the Order of the Sith. And then what is this? We haven't seen this yet. Bio subject, and subject is abbreviated, meaning the answer will likely also be abbreviated. So anat for anatomy. And here we have more than dangerous could be lethal. Not just dangerous, but lethally dangerous. Still don't see this 8 vis-a-vis 2. Oh, cube, a cube. Oh, there we go. All right. 8 is the cube of 2. So 8 with respect to 2 is 8 of is the cube of 2. All right. I was looking for a comparative word. So I was looking for 8 to be more of something than 2 or less of something than 2 or this compared to that. But it's in fact 8 with respect to 2. It's cubed. 2 cubed is 8. Oh boy, that took me absolutely ages. And I really had to get, I had to get every single cross in order to see it. Here we have queen's subjects are bees, and that's why I realized cube finally. And to intoxicate could be to besot. So if you're intoxicated, you're besotted, and that could be used both in a slightly more literal sense with alcohol or some other intoxicant, or metaphorically, you could be besotted with love. And a fatty tuna in Japanese cuisine. Don't remember actually, strangely. Labor union offering, perhaps, could be I was going to say strike, but it's not, I don't know if you'd call that an offering. Some kind of deal. I'm not sure. Let's look around. A register could be a tone. You could have your voice in a particular register. Could be a till, a register at a cash register at a store, a shop. If it were till, we could have strike something. Part. Yeah, a part could be a roll. Yeah, okay, and Toro. Okay, all right. So I think that is probably Toro. And then strike offering, strike day. I don't really, the offering is sort of odd there. To stay good could be to keep, as in food. If the food will keep, it will stay good. To release something could be to let it go. Here we have blank Yaga, folklore villain, Baba Yaga, of Russian folklore, I believe. And goes along with, well, a bets could be goes along with in a sort of criminal sense, but what else do we have here? Extravagant, lavish. Where to get money in Milano? Banco, perhaps? Sorry, just got some notifications, making sure nothing's going wrong. Several Russian czars, Ivans, and what is this goes along with? Abides. Yes, I see. You go along with what's happening around you, you abide. All right. Or you can't abide something, you can't go along with it. Maybe actually how it's more often used these days. 58 down, gone down. Could be sank. Let's try it and see what happens. This is odd looking. Shork. Wonder what this is. Experts in English. It's not banco in Milano, it's banca, so it's a feminine noun, I suppose. And experts in English. So I think English in this case is referring to the spin that you put on a billiards or snooker ball. And so pool sharks could be the experts in that. And senators organization, I suspect this is sports. So it's probably some league that ends here, because I don't know what it would be with respect to legislators. I don't know what organization that would be in 3 letters ending with an L. To go down. So we have another go down. And again, it could. Right. So here we had gone down. I see. And here we have go down. Could be drop. Let's try it. Let's see. Its structure was evidenced by photo 51, an X-ray captured in 1952. Interesting. DNA, perhaps? And what you might unthinkingly be on. You might unthinkingly be on auto. Ah, yes, you're on auto. You're on automatic unthinkingly. That's clever. You shouldn't do this is a no-no. So here's an example of, we don't get these very often. This is, I don't know if there's a term for these. Most New York Times crossword clues are synonyms or definitions. So gone down, sank, and go down, drop. Each of these is a synonym of the other. So you could simply replace it in the sentence. Auto isn't. If you said, I'm on auto, well, I guess it sort of is. In a very tortured sense, you could say, I'm running on auto, and you could say, I'm running on what you might unthinkingly be on. Sort of technically works in a strictly grammatical sense, but essentially this is describing the word. It's what you might unthinkingly be on. It's auto. So I guess it's maybe not the strictest example of what I'm talking about, but it's just worth looking out for that sort of thing. All right, going from 99 to 100, say, rounding. And here we have a different tense of gone down. It's not sank, it's sunk. And that allows us to fill rounding up for going from 99 to 100. We've rounded the number up. And in hot pursuit is on the scene? I suppose so. Does on the scene itself mean you're in hot pursuit? I wouldn't have necessarily thought so. Yeah, I don't. I mean, I get what it means. You're on the scene. You're there. You're pursuing the foe or whatever. But on the scene, I feel could also have completely different implication. Anyway, whatever. Cocktail tidbit. Cocktail tidbit. Maybe a prawn, as in prawn cocktail, for instance. A dish I must say I love. It's such a an almost at this point sort of quaint evocation of luxury, a prawn cocktail, but boy, I love it. The combination of the prawn, the tartar sauce, and or not tartar sauce, the horseradish, tomato horseradish sauce. Boy, I love that, the cocktail sauce. Anyway, with 66 across, good thinking. So we have a two-part clue, and it starts with a word that itself begins with N. Nice idea? No. I don't know. Let's see if we can get anything that's going to give us some crosses into there. Bit of a character. Bit of a character. Boy, I'm not really seeing that. Archer of note. I don't know, William Tell maybe? Although that makes this a pretty tough cross. Sharp in a way. Not sure about that either. Let's look elsewhere. Sorry about that. The art of politics. Something games. Not natural. Could be fake. Let's try it. 29 across. Oh, there's that person, Amy something McPherson. I don't know her name. Field could be an area, field of study, an area of study. They might be gathered by the pound. So the surface reading here looks like gathering something by the pound, gathering something by weight, but I wonder if it means a dog pound, maybe? It might end with an S. Desire of a quick study, question mark. Desire of a quick study. Don't know. And a labor union offering, perhaps. Strike off? I don't know. Banned Books Week organization. I don't know this either. This is turning out to be a challenging little area of this puzzle for me, isn't it? Well, not natural. Could be fake, but I was hoping to confirm it with something else. That field area. I guess I did confirm it with area. But they might be gathered by the pound. I kind of wanted this to be dogs. For some reason, when I saw it, and I thought, let's just see if it is. because I was trying to think of other breeds of dogs or something, and I couldn't. I mean, it could be something like Pomeranians, but that just seems much too specific. So if this were not natural, I don't know. That doesn't look great either. Entitled sort. I don't think we've seen this. Entitled sort. Big. Wait, sorry, I really have hit a wall, haven't I? Desire of a quick study. Now, this too feels like I should be able to get it. It feels like it should be something about cramming or I don't know. The art of politics. All right, well, there is a question mark here. So it's some kind of pun or wordplay. So usually when you get that indicator, the pun indicator, it means that there will be a word that needs to be read differently. And in this case, and so the and of, I think we can assume are not the pun word. Politics might be, but I suspect not, because that's a pretty specific word. Art is the word that I think could be, I'm sorry, phone buzzes occasionally and I just need to make sure it's something important. Art seems like the word that could be taken several ways. So could it be literally art, sort of illustrations, propaganda? Would that work? Actually, that fits dogs. That's probably one of the reasons my brain went there. Labor union offering, perhaps. Strike, options, strike. Boy, I'm going to be very disappointed if propaganda is wrong. There's no way propaganda could be wrong with this G and A. I mean, there's no way. I don't know this person. Field, okay, field could still be area. If it's not natural, it could be made. Well, this could be simple. That's a name. Semper. I don't know if I haven't heard that as a surname. If it were simple, desire of a quick study. Easy A, maybe? So what someone wants, did they study? I don't have a quick study. I guess what this means in this case would be the class is an easy A. So you only need to study briefly, perhaps. So this could be something that looks like simple. An entitled sort. Why am I not seeing this? Could it be someone with a title, someone with a noble title? Oh, strike pay. Oh, sorry. Should have seen this much earlier. Labor union offering is strike pay. And entitled sort, a legal owner of something, someone who is entitled to something legally. Okay, I see. Archer of note. Anne Archer? That sort of sounds familiar. Who is that? Oh, not nice idea, but neat idea. Should have tried some more synonyms. So this does look like Anne Archer, and then a bit of a character trait. Oh, a trait, yes. Your character, I suppose you could say, is made up of all of the traits you have. Your traits comprise your character. And then sharp in a way is tart. Oops, sorry. My finger just hit that A without thinking. Oh, and I still don't have it right. Oh, that's a shame. So yesterday, with that rebus puzzle, I failed to validate the puzzle because I didn't know what the puzzle was looking for, but this time I'm certain that it's and I don't think it was my fault yesterday, but in this case, I think it is. So sorry, I'm just going to run through these and see if anything pops out at me. This is resin, right? And not rosin, because Siamese cat must be correct, yeah. Okay. Simple. I don't know this person, but this has got to be right based on everything else. I don't see what else that could be. Okay. Besought. You know, I was so skeptical of this on the scene. Could this be something else? Did I ever look at this? I didn't. I never looked at this. 3 for a tray, abbreviation. 3 points. There we go. Sorry. Oh, man. That's so silly. I was so skeptical of on the scene for in hot pursuit, and I talked myself into it being correct but I never looked at this cross. Always check the crosses. Let's check the crosses. That is the slogan of the mug you can get if you back the Patreon campaign at the benefactor level. And it's what I should have done. It's what I should have done a few minutes ago, and I didn't. Ah, boy. All right. So that was, I think that was quite a good puzzle, and I really interacted with it in the way that I like a Friday puzzle to be, which is, a little bit of resistance, but largely solving pretty constantly throughout until I got to this little corner, which really gave me some trouble until I got that propaganda. But all the while, there was a little bomb that I'd planted for myself, hoisted by my own petard, 10 minutes probably previously, that I'd laid in this cell, waiting for me to trip me up at the very end. Oh boy, that is frustrating. Well, again, did enjoy this puzzle. I really have to say I loved getting "Don't Be a Stranger" early on. That was quite enjoyable to get the one grid spanning answer in the puzzle with I think maybe no crosses. I can't remember. I don't think I had any crosses on that, but it gave me quite a few, and that's always incredibly fun. Not that I was any kind of superstar solver on this puzzle in general. Really struggled in a few areas, but broadly speaking, I think if I hadn't made that mistake, and I think if I had been a little quicker over here, I think the whole thing would have solved in the way that I really like a Friday puzzle to solve. I just wasn't in finest form for every moment of the solve, but hey, it happens. That's okay. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it as well. I hope you enjoyed the puzzle, and certainly I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do subscribe. Trying to creep towards 4,000 subscribers, which I know is nothing extraordinary in the world of YouTube channels, but certainly feels like a lot for me, for my little channel here. And I think we're maybe, 50 away from that or something. So I'm not too far away. If you help me get there, I'd hugely appreciate it. Just subscribe to the channel and you will see these videos as they go up each day. And why not pass this on to someone else? Encourage them to subscribe. They might enjoy this sort of thing. You never know. Give it a shot. And if you particularly enjoy this series and you would like to help contribute to its ongoing sustainability, as well as getting some benefits in return, head over to the Patreon campaign at patreon.com/dailysolve, where you can contribute a few pounds a month or the equivalent in your local currency to help this thing be a sustainable part of my daily work. And you will get months of bonus solves, including the weekly mini puzzle speed solves, the monthly New York Times bonus puzzles, which I put up the November puzzle this week, No Shave November themed puzzle. And when I can get the files to work, the Boss Words Fall Themeless League competition puzzle. And like I said, I tried to record a replacement for that, and that replacement also went wrong. So I'll try and get something else up on the channel soon, I promise. And if you contribute at a particular level, like I said, you will get that Let's Check the Crosses mug, which I really wish I'd had in my possession today so I could have stared at it and been reminded of what I was supposed to be doing, but also recognition at the end of these videos. And to that end, today, I would like to thank Joseph Schwalbach, Overfull Hitbox, Stephanie Fredericks, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster. So, thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Overfull Hitbox. Thank you, Stephanie. And thank you, Hood Monster. Your ongoing support is very genuinely, sincerely appreciated. So, thank you so much for helping to keep this thing going. It means a lot to me. And thanks to you for watching. Thanks for watching the video, and thanks to everybody else who's backed the Patreon at any level. Thanks to all of you. And I hope you'll be back tomorrow for the Saturday puzzle, the most difficult puzzle of the week generally. I'll have to get that out early before I head off to actually start preparing the Thanksgiving meal properly. So that'll be fun. A fun way to invigorate myself in the morning for that day-long task. I'm looking forward to it. And I hope you will be back. I'm looking forward to that as well. Until that point, please do have an excellent remainder of your Friday. Take care.